Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture let's design the remaining part of the navigation bar. So the first thing which you need to do is that you actually need to put in some elements so that when you click on that particular element you will be redirected to a new page. So the first thing which we do is that we go right below this div tag where the container fluid tag ends, or the container fluid class ends. And here we make another class, and that class is going to be of the type collapse. So we type in div class, and that is going to be collapse, and that is going to be navbar collapse. So this is the basic, what you could say, class which you will use to create your navbar in Bootstrap. And then let's create an unordered list class. So you simply type in ul class, and that class is going to be nav, and that is going to be navbar nav. So this is the class for the unordered list, and let's go ahead and create a list inside this thing. So let's type in li class, let's leave this class blank, and to this let's add in a link which will redirect us to a new page whenever we click that particular thing on the navigation bar. So we type ahref, and let's say for the moment we want this thing to redirect us to the home page. So we simply type in the same URL over here. So let me just simply copy this thing, paste it over here. Let me close the tag, and within this tag what you could do is that you could use another tag which is called as the span tag, which will basically allow you to insert something into it. So here what we are going to do is that we are going to insert the name for that menu item on the navigation bar. Along with that name, we are also going to include an icon. So whenever you actually want to include an icon, we use a special class in Bootstrap which stands for glyph icons. So let's say you actually want to have an item which is called as books, and for that book item you actually want an icon. So what you actually need to do is that you need to find an icon image on the internet, and you need to copy that image . It is going to give you a bunch of select an icon. So this time we want a book icon, so we search for book, and this thing right here is the glyph icon for book. So you simply need to copy this name, and then you need to go to the IDE, and here let's type in span class, and you simply need to name that class as glyph icon space glyph icon dash the actual icon name of that thing. So the icon for book is glyph icon book, so we have included that thing over here. And now let's type in area hidden equals true and end this tag. And after this, when we end this tag, we also want a name here with some space. So you could simply type in an NBSP for a space, give a semicolon, and you could type in books. So when you do that, and when you save this code, the browser, and if you refresh this thing, as you could see, now we have the book icon right over here, but actually we missed something. That is, we actually want this thing to be present right to the right side, to the right of this, instead of having it to the bottom. So you could go to the IDE, and what you could do is that you could cut this entire class, and you could actually paste it in between this div right here. So if you save this code now, and if you return back here and refresh it, as you could see, now we have the book item, but we now have that thing right beside the bookstore. So now let's go ahead and learn how to add another icon to the side of this book icon. So let's say you want an icon to basically be able to add a particular book. So now what we are going to do is that instead of typing these things once again, we are simply going to copy this UL class entirely, and we are going to paste it right over here. And once we have pasted this thing here, what we will do is that we will actually go ahead and we will make some tweaks over here. So right now what we want to do is that instead of having to place that item to the left, let's say you want to place that item to the right. So what you could do here, and we are going to change that URL later, but not at this moment. And let's say this option says something like add book. So we could save that. And now let's go ahead and go to the web browser, and if we refresh this thing, as you could see, we have the option for add book, but right now at the moment we only have add book over here. And let's assume that you actually want to change this thing, that is right now this thing is a simple book, and let's say you want to change it to some plus sign. So what you could do is that you could simply go to Google, or you could directly go to the Bootstrap glyph icon. So you could type in Bootstrap glyph icon, go to the website, which is getbootstrap/components, and you could choose an appropriate symbol for adding things up. So you could choose this thing, which is glyph icon plus, but I personally would choose this icon which says glyph icon plus sign. So you simply need to copy this, return back to your IDE, and here instead of having a glyph icon book, you could replace this by glyph icon plus sign. So when you paste this thing, and if you save this code, and if you return back over here and refresh this browser, as you could see, now we have a plus sign over here right in front of the add book. So now let's go ahead and add the final thing for logout. Another class. So you simply need to go back to your IDE, and in this tag itself, let's copy this thing, paste it over here, and instead of having add book, let's say we call it as logout, and let's choose an appropriate glyph icon for this. So again, go here, and if you search for logout, you actually won't be able to find anything over here. So what we could do is that we could simply go and select a random icon for logging out the user. So you could choose any of the icon which you want, but I'm just trying to select a proper one. So let me just go ahead and go through these icons, and let's say this icon, and yeah, we got this icon for logout which looks something like this. So I'm going to simply copy this, return back to the IDE, and here instead of this glyph icon, let's paste the logout icon. Let's save the code. Let's go back to So now even if you minimize the browser size, as you could see, we have the icons, and these icons are going to adjust themselves like this. Websites, then it's not possible without working on the front end, because any website would ideally consist of 50% front end and 50% back end. So that's it for this lecture, and in the next lecture we will discuss a few more things about UI, and then finally let's learn how to combine Django and the UI so that they work perfectly in combination with each other. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.